Hello, 7th grade. This is lesson 99. Our objective is, what is and how do you use the Pythagorean theorem? Well, the Pythagorean theorem is a really famous, really fundamental part of geometry and working with triangles, and it's really old. There's a great TED Ed movie about it, about showing different ways to prove the Pythagorean theorem. But just the basic idea in simple terms is that if you have a right triangle, if you take the area of one of the short sides, a leg, plus the area of another short side, this B area, that would equal the area of the square off this large side. So basic idea here is this A squared plus the B squared will equal C squared. So let's go ahead and jump right into solving some of these. Remember that the hypotenuse, the one opposite that right angle, is always the C. And then generally we say the shortest one is the A, and the middlest one is the B. So for this one, we're going to say 2.4 squared plus 5 squared is equal to C squared. 2.4 times 2.4 comes out to be 5.76. 5 times 5 comes out to be 25. And then C squared is just C squared. So the left-hand side comes out to be 30.76 is equal to C squared. Since we're wanting C, we would just simply take the square root of both sides. So you get C is equal to the square root of that 30.76, which comes out to be a really long number. .5461698 blah blah blah. But we're just going to go and round to the nearest tenth here. So we're going to say 5.5 is going to be our answer. Now we can still do this even if we don't have a picture here because they tell us what A, B, and we're looking for that C is. So I'm going to say 12.7 squared plus 11.5 squared is equal to C squared. 11.5 squared is 132.25. 12.7 squared is 161.29. I'm just doing that on a calculator. Is equal to C squared. Whenever I add those two together, I get 293.54 is equal to C squared. Again, to solve, I just want to take the square root. I'm just going to push the square root on my button, square root button on my calculator, and I get C is equal to 17.133009076049666, etc. But I'm just going to round to the nearest tenth. Since it's 0.13, it's going to round to 17.1. Now sometimes we have the C and we're missing maybe like the A or the B. So for this case, I don't know what A is. So I'm just going to call that A squared plus 10.2 squared is going to equal to 11.8 squared. Again, I know this side length is the C because it's across from the 90. So I'm going to go ahead and figure out what some of those are. 10.2 squared is 104.04. 11.8 squared is 139.24. I add. Now, I don't want to add those because now I'm trying to get this A squared by itself. So I'm going to have to subtract that 104.04. 104.04. If I subtract, I just end up with that A squared there on the left. It's going to be a 0. 2 minus 0 is 2. 9 minus 4, 5. 3 minus 0, 3. So 35.2. Now to solve for a, I want to take the square root. A is equal to 5.93 blah blah blah, so it's going to be 5.9. Now, same idea here. Even if I don't have the picture, I can still do that. I'm looking for my a, I have a b, and I have a c. So I'm going to say a squared plus 4.1 squared is equal to 12.8 squared. So I'm going to say 4.1 squared, that is equal to 16.81. 12.8 squared is equal to 163.84. Going ahead and subtract that 16.81 from both sides. I get a squared is equal to 147.03. I want to take the square root, and I end up with a is equal to 12.12 or 12.1. And one last thing we're going to do is find the perimeter of the triangle when I'm missing a side length. But thankfully for us, we realize that this is a right triangle. So here I'm going to be looking for that C, that third length. So I'm going to say 5.9, not equals to, but squared, plus that 12.5 squared is equal to C squared. Again, I put the missing one because it was across from the 90 on that right-hand side. So 5.9 squared comes out to be 34.81 plus 12.5 squared going to be 156.25 is equal to C squared. Go ahead and add those together, and I get 191.06 is equal to C squared. Take the square root of both sides, end up with C is equal to 13.8. So up here, this missing length that I'm missing is 13.8. Now I'm not finished because it didn't ask for the missing side length. However, it asked for the perimeter. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add those three numbers, 5.9, 12.5, 13.8. When you add, you get 32.2. So that would be our answer there. 32.2, whatever our unit of measure is. Your homework for today is just to finish out the worksheet that you should have in front of you now. And if you notice, I've already done like 5 of them for you. So good luck. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.